last night, it was the Rockies who helped Sonny Gray notch his 13th win as he still eyes this year's Cy Young Award. Billy Burns and Mark Cannon provide the pop, and newcomer Ryan Dahl continues to amaze as he shut down the Astros for the final 2 innings, helping the A's take Game 2. Tonight, it's another rookie to the hill, Aaron Brooks. The 25-year-old right-hander will look to get his crew back, and the A's will look to complete the sweep and spoil the Astros' postseason plans. It's Game 3, A's-Astros, next. It is another warm night at the HOU at OAK Coliseum, and tonight the A's are going for the 3-game sweep, and it'll be the rookie Aaron Brooks taking them out and trying to finish off the Astros. So third and final game of the series, also final game of the homestand. It's the Astros and the Athletics coming up on CSN California. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Eric Chavez, I'm Glenn Kuiperl. Earlier today, the A's made a significant announcement, an announcement that keeps some stability in the manager's office. Bob Melvin was signed to a 2-year contract extension. His contract currently was going through 2016, so tack on 2 more years. So Bob Melvin will be the manager through the 2018 season here with the Athletics. So congratulations to Bob Melvin. He's done a terrific job, and this is what the skipper had to say about today's news.
My time here has been great. We've had good years here, and certainly not this year, but I'm fully committed to this team, this organization, and this fan base to get this thing turned around sooner than later. You know, starting with trying to figure out what the pieces are this year going forward and the end of next year. We've turned it around very quickly in the past, in 2012, and that's what we'll be looking to do in the near future. So very appreciative of this day and this extension.
No, I don't know. We're all thrilled that Bob Melvin's going to stick around. He's a good manager. He's a good man. And you know what? He's the kind of guy, he's going to stick his nose down and get this turned around as quick as he can because he loves the A's. He lives here. And I think this is a great day for the Athletics.
I do, too. And even that interview, you could tell he's a calming presence. He's a motivator. And the best thing I heard about him, even going back to the Arizona days, is this guy knows how to communicate with his players. They know where they stand. They know when they're going to play. And it's just the right fit. He's a good guy. 3 postseason appearances, and he's the right guy to lead this ship.
All right, so he will be here through 2018. Congratulations to Bob Melvin. Now, for tonight's game, the A's will take on Colin McHugh from the Astros. He's a 15-game winner. He's very good, so the A's are going to have to beat a good pitcher if they're going to sweep the Stros.
Yeah, and Colin is going for a 16th win of the season, and he has been fantastic, and he needs to be. They've started off this 10-game road trip 0-2. The last thing they want to do is take the sweep from a last-place Oakland Athletics team.
Yeah, and their lead is down to 1 in the AL West over the Rangers. The A's will send Aaron Brooks to the mound. So Brooks and McHugh is your starting pitcher matchup for the final game of this season. We'll have, for the final game of the series, excuse me, we'll have lineups and first pitch from the Coliseum when we come back.
California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
Well, that is Carson Blair, who's making his first major league start tonight. He played a little bit a couple days ago. So Carson Blair, a night to remember for him as he will catch Aaron Brooks. Let's check the game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open this weekend. Another warm night. Not quite as warm as last night, but still 81 degrees at game time. You just do not see that very often here at the Coliseum. And the Astros are trying to avoid being swept by the A's. And here is the lineup for Houston. Springer in right, Altuve at second, Correa at short, Gomez at center. Then Lowry's at third, Gaddis will DH. Rasmussen left, Gonzalez at first, and Conger is your catcher.
And they will be facing the 25-year-old Aaron Brooks. 1-2 record for the year, 6.91 ERA, making his fifth start. Coming off a start versus Seattle where he only lasted 2 1/3. He struggled with location, and his stuff was a little flat. He'll be looking to bounce back and get on track as the A's go for the sweep of the first place Houston Astros.
Spanish audio for tonight's game is available through your SAP button. It's presented by Jack Daniels. So we're set for baseball from the Coliseum as George Springer steps in, and the first pitch of the game is hit hard towards second. Scooped up by Lowry. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the first.
First pitch, 7:07.
Defensively for the A's, they have Coco Crisp in left, Billy Burns in center, and Josh Reddick in right. And Valencia, Simeon, Lowry, and Canna on the infield third to first. And as we mentioned, Carson Blair is behind the plate. So 1 away here in the first, and Jose Altuve steps up. He's won 10-9 on Monday. They won 4-0 last night, picking up their league-leading 15th shutout of the year. Sonny Gray got the win. Altuve bounces one fair down the third base line. Coco gets to it quickly, but not before Altuve has what is his first hit in the series, and it's a 1-out double here in the first.
Batting in the third position.
Looked like a fastball up, and after Springer swinging at the first pitch, Altuve goes after the first one. Not surprised by that. Doubles down the left field line.
So Carlos Correa steps up. Correa in this series is 1 for 9. With that one hit, a big home run. He's got 4 RBIs in the series. Overall, 17 home runs and 50 RBIs for the young shortstop. First pitch is at the knees on the outside corner, first strike. Astros are 75-64, and they are clinging to first place in the AL West. A 1-game lead over the hard-charging Texas Rangers. So A.J. Hinch trying to get the Astros to the postseason for the first time since 2005 when they went to the World Series. But they have lost 5 out of their last 7. They're 27-40 on the road, and they're just starting a 3-city road trip.
And you don't want to say this is a must-win, but it is a very important game for them.
Longest active postseason drought. Astros are 4th on the list. Blue Jays trying to get in. They get a pretty good shot. And so do the Astros, but the Astros need to start playing better. Texas Rangers 1 game back. They will be in Seattle. That game should get started momentarily. Perez for Texas, Nuno for Seattle. Rangers have won the first 2 games of that 4-game series. They'll play again tomorrow afternoon up in Seattle. Before the Rangers head home to get ready to host the Athletics this weekend. 3-1 now to Carlos Correa. Dodgers and the Angels just underway. Latos and Richards. Dodgers going for the sweep. That may be a must-win for the Angels.
I think so.
They are struggling. Starting to slide a little bit. Angels 4.5 back in the second wild card spot. 5.5 back in the division. The 3-1 pitch is hit. Fair. Valencia near the bag. His throw bounces to first. Canna has it with the second out, and Altuve goes to third.
Nice play by Danny. A little backhand down the line.
Batting in the 4th position.
Uses the grass. Pops it over.
Carlos Gomez.
And that's a play that I used to like to do. I worked on it during batting practice and figured out where that hop would reach the first baseman. And it prevented me trying to make a strong throw and maybe one hopping or maybe throwing it too high. And I found that it was a little bit more consistent for me.
Expo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. First pitch to Gomez is low. Yeah, that seemed to work for you pretty well.
Yeah, and the reason I did it was, the shoulder, it wasn't feeling as good as that I would have liked it to feel over my career. And instead of forcing that good throw over there, trying to get it all the way there and short hopping the first baseman, I just gave him the long hop instead.
Gomez pops it up in front of his own dugout. Canna is there, slides, makes the catch, side retired. So Altuve stranded at third, and a nice play by Mark Canna. And let's take a look. Their lineup looks like this. Rookies at the top with Burns and Canna, and then Reddick, Valencia, Laurie, Crisp, Butler, Simeon, and Carson Blair.
And the A's will be facing Colin McHugh, 15-7 on the year, 3.75 ERA, making his 28th start of the year. His last start, he got the win versus Minnesota Twins, going 7 2/3 scoreless innings. He has been terrific over his last 6 starts, holding opponents to 2 runs or less.
So McHugh looking for win number 16. Maybe from Houston. Those old Astros uniforms. We like to say they were so bad, they were good. Burns slices it foul. Second level. 296 for Burns, 4 home runs, 35 RBIs, and a home run last night.
A deep home run, dead center.
Canna and Reddick to follow here in the first inning, facing the 28-year-old right-hander Colin McHugh. He's 6'2", 190 pounds. He was a waiver claim from the Rockies in the offseason of 2013, and last year, kind of a surprise for the Astros, but a nice surprise. He was 11-9 with a 2.73 ERA. Little pop-up. Altuve goes back. He's got it. So this is the defense behind Colin McHugh. Obi Rasmus gets his first start in this series. He's in left field, and Gomez in center, Springer right. Lowry, Correa, Altuve, Gonzalez on the infield. At the plate. So here's Canna. Canna's a hot hitter, 259 overall, 14 homers, 60 RBIs. 4 hits in the series with a couple of home runs. Shoots that one just foul. He's got 9 hits in his last 20 at-bats, does Canna. Fourth among rookies in home runs, first in RBIs.
This was a cutter from Kazmir in off the plate, pulled his hands in, hit it deep to left. He's been using the whole field, going to right field, and he's been getting on top of some balls lately, hitting them to left. Really good swing going.
Last 20 games, a .337 average, 22 RBIs his last 20 games. A rookie finishing strong in September. How about that?
Awesome. And these are the positive notes that the A's need to key on moving forward. You know, it's been a tough year for them, but there's been some good things happening. Him and Billy offensively.
So 3-1 the count. And it's high, and it's a walk. First base runner for the A's. And that'll bring up Reddick. Careless whispers back for Josh Reddick. He's going to have a good night.
So he's played this before.
Well, he did. It was a big deal.
Huh. Well, I know he was going with the Giambi tune when Giambi was here.
Well, I would say that he's
the Howling Wolf.
He's gone from Howling Wolf to Careless Whisper. So it's a. I'm a little older, so I like to think he's come a long way.
Aaron Brooks going with a little reggae. Jesse Chavez went with a little lowrider the other day when he started, so they're getting creative.
It's important stuff, you know.
Absolutely.
Reddick skies one on the infield, left side of the diamond. Correa gets over there. He's got it. So Careless Whisper does not help this time. Maybe next time as Valencia steps up.
Batting in the fourth position, third baseman, number 26, Danny
Valencia, good numbers, 292, 13 home runs, 53 RBIs. He's 2 for 6 in the series. He's walked 3 times. Runner goes, throw to second base, not nearly in time. Cannon with a 2-out stolen base.
Colin really not showing much attention to Mark, and he takes advantage of it, gets a good jump. Got a decent pitch to run on too. Showing a lot of versatility.
Stolen base number 7. So Valencia RBI opportunity. Curve, and a good one. McHugh has that good overhand curve, and he's not afraid to throw it. This is McHugh's 3rd start against the A's this year. He's won 1 and he has lost 1. He beat the A's in April. He lost to the A's in August. Valencia hits it into the glove of Marwin Gonzalez, who is playing way off the line. And he makes the catch. Side retired. So both teams strand a runner in the first. We're headed to the second. No score.
To watch the A's take on the Texas Rangers on September 22nd, 23rd, or 24th. And everyone in your suite will receive an A's replica pullover. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/pullover.
Second inning. No score. These folks are having a good time in one of the suites. Another nice night at the ballpark. Pitch to Lowry from Brooks is a fastball outside. Lowry, Gaddis, and Rasmus here in the second inning for the Astros. Good swing by Lowry, fouls it straight back.
The fastball from Aaron tonight looks like it's got a little bit more life. It's got late movement. His last outing was just a little bit flat. Seems to have gotten it back.
High strike call. Brooks will take it. Jed Lowry says that's up. So 1-2 the count. Simeon, the shortstop, playing right behind second base. Shift is on. Umpires tonight: Mark Ripperger, Jim Wolf, Alan Porter, Brian O'Nora. That is the crew chief. He's at third. little bit inside, 3-2.
And he tried to bring this back just a little bit. Really good pitch, and maybe the barking by Lowry got the call right there.
Rips one foul. Astros bullpen is safe and secure. Nice play down there. This would be a good night if you were a fan for foul balls. It's a small crowd. Find a good spot, wait it out. Swing and a miss. Fastball running away from Lowry. So Brooks gets his first strikeout. On August 6th, Brooks faced these same Astros right here at the Coliseum, and he was great. It was his second start with the A's, and he threw 7 innings of one-run baseball. Unfortunately, the A's lost the game 5-4 in 10 innings, but he was terrific. Remember, he started against Cleveland and then backed it up with that start against the Astros. First pitch to Gaddis, fouled straight back.
Yeah, I think I did that game too, and he was pretty impressive. Got a good changeup that we saw. Late movement with that fastball.
Well, that's what I remember about the first 2 starts. Cleveland and Houston, when he was so good, is his changeup was really good.
Yeah,
it has not been as good since those 2 starts.
No,
obviously.
no, but that fastball really is it's a key pitch for him, because if it doesn't have any life to it, no movement, they're not going to get off that changeup. So if he can get them thinking about that fastball a little bit in the back of their minds, that changeup can really work.
2 pitch to Gaddis. Gaddis drives one toward left center, but got under a little bit. As Burns is over there, he waits, he's got it. So 2 away here in the second inning. So there's the last 2 starts for Brooks. He was decent in Arizona, but not good in his last start against Seattle. And the problem in that start is that the A's scored 4 runs in the first inning and he couldn't hold it. When it was all said and done, the 3rd inning alone, the Mariners scored 6 times. He gave up 5 of those 6. So he could not hold an early lead. At the knees, good pitch there by Brooks. Well, the A's have 22 games left after tonight, so Brooks will, if he remains in the rotation, get 3 or 4 more starts. Tried that corner again and missed. 1-1 to Rasmus. 227 for Rasmus with 18 home runs and 48 RBIs. First start in this series. And he fouls it back, and the bat sails down the first base line.
Yeah, and whatever it was with his last start, it just wasn't there from the beginning. He struggled with location. He got a little frustrated with some calls that he didn't get. And then when he missed with location, Seattle was not missing it, and they had a hot series. It was a good series for them. They scored a lot of runs, and he's got his fastball back tonight. He looks good. 94 on that last pitch.
He goes up and in to Rasmus.
His demeanor's a lot better. He's more confident tonight, you can tell. It's what you'd like to see from a young guy. Bounce back, forget about that last start, move forward.
Well, even tonight, it just, I mean, he looks completely different. He's working quickly like he did in those first 2 starts.
Yeah, it's almost like he knew he didn't have his good stuff his last start, and he just tried to work his way through it, but it didn't happen. He was getting frustrated, like I said, with the calls he didn't get. It's just a bad night for him.
3-2 to Rasmus. on for the left-handed hitter. He hits one deep to right field, and you can pretty much forget about this one. Way out of here, and Rasmus with his 19th home run of the year to give the Astros a 1-0 lead.
Wow, and that was impressive. And this is kind of the luxury that A.J. Hinch has. He's been going with Jake Marisnick. He's had the hot hand. It's the first time Rasmus has played in this series. He gets a fastball.
Batting in the 8th position, first baseman.
Goes to the second deck. Not too many balls were hit there. And we talked about contributions from the whole lineup. At least 10 players with 10 home runs.
That was a long one. Astros now with 189 home runs, second most in the American League. Laurie Dias cannot quite get it, and Marwin Gonzalez has a hit. It's really what the Astros do. They steal bases, they hit home runs, they strike out a lot. But they're a dangerous offensive team.
And they stay aggressive. Marwin attacking the first pitch again. It's a sharp ground ball to right field.
So Gonzalez is aboard for Hank Conger, hitting in the 9th spot. Here's that changeup, 81 miles an hour. Some of the offensive numbers: 103 stolen bases, most in the American League. Well, it's been the strikeout thing, that's been their deal for the last 3 years. Led the league in strikeouts the last 3 years. But now they just have, I think, to me, Eric, it's pretty simple. They just have some better offensive players.
They do, and they have a few guys that are doing some damage too, but it is a little concerning, the strikeouts. And if you go down the line, you look at the batting averages, they're not extremely high. And you just worry that they're dependent too much on that home run ball. And they've gotten it pretty much all year long, but when you get into a short series and you're facing 1, 2s, and 3s, the long balls are harder to come by.
And that's why they're, I mean, they really are an interesting offensive team. But compared to 2 years ago, they're still striking out a lot. But now you got really the only guy that was here a couple of years ago is Altuve. Carter as well. So Conger strikes out, couple of strikeouts for Aaron Brooks, but he gives up a long home run to Colby Rasmus. So the Astros lead 1-0.
former A's players for the 2016 Oakland Athletics Fantasy Camp, held from January 15th to the 21st at the A's new spring training facility in Mesa, Arizona. Get out of the stands and onto the field and create lasting memories with former A's greats. For more details, go to hendersonbaseball.com or call 509-993-7338.
So Laurie to lead it off against Colin McHugh. Laurie, Chris Butler. High fastball. Laurie can't hold up. 273, 15 home runs, 56 RBIs for Brett Laurie. High fastball, 0-2. Shutdown inning for Colin McHugh. See if he can get it done. Stays up there with the fastball. This one is high. Got him like a little slider, cut fastball maybe. Laurie swings and misses. First strikeout for Colin McHugh.
Yeah, I think it was a cutter, and Brett's a little bit in between right now. He's been swinging the bat extremely well, but yesterday a little frustrated with Kaz. A couple strikeouts. Just a little bit in between.
So here's Coco. Coco playing in his 34th game this year. He's hoping that number changes next year. Interesting stuff there. Look at the cutter, 39% of the time. So that would be his go-to pitch, and it's working.
And it's a good one. Yeah, and it does different things. The one he threw to Brett kind of took off across the plate. That one he just threw to Coco had a little dive action to it. So it is a very good pitch for him. And so is that curveball. Coco did offer. He crossed the plate.
Curveball again. 3-2. Butler to follow here in the second inning. Rolled foul, so the count remains 2-2. Up into foul territory. Lowry's going to have room, and that's out number 2. Coco's retired, and here comes Billy Butler.
Batting in the second position.
Butler hitting at 254 with 10 home runs and 51 RBI. He's 4 for 8 in this series. Scored a couple of runs. McHugh kind of eased that one in there first strike. Dallas Keuchel, McHugh's teammate, who will pitch on Friday for the Astros. He leads the American League in wins with 17, and Felix Hernandez has 16. And then Colin McHugh with 15. So the Keuchel-McHugh combo, not too shabby. 17 wins and 15 wins, so 32 wins combined. So they're 32 and 13 as a group. So record-wise, stands up to Greinke and Kershaw. That's not too shabby.
Yeah, and they get all the notoriety. I think Keuchel's got some notoriety, but I think people are just starting to find out how good Colin McHugh is too.
Well, yeah, you think about Keuchel and then you think about Kazmir as well, but let's not forget about this guy. It's not a bad 1, 2, 3 to go into a postseason series with.
Not at all. Very good. They just got to get there first.
Yep, that's right. So Billy Butler with the walk. Last night, Scott Kazmir went 6 innings, gave up 4 earned runs, 97 pitches, and he took the loss.
The A's hitters really did have a good night against them. We talked about who had the advantage, and I had hinted that maybe the A's hitters did have an advantage, knowing some tendencies. Mark Canha getting a cutter that he took deep for a 3-run homer. But the A's hitters, they've really been swinging the bats a lot well the last few weeks, and talked about the addition of Danny Valencia and Billy Burns doing his job at the top of the lineup.
Simeon takes just a bit outside. 255 for Simeon. So swinging the bats better lately. 17 home runs in the last 14 games.
But you really do put a run producer in the middle of the lineup, and as hot as Valencia has been in the 3-4 slots for the A's, stretches out their lineup. You look at what Cespedes has done for the Mets, and he's made the world of difference for them, taking a lot of pressure off of guys.
Up the middle, and Simeon has a hit. So 2 on, 2 out, and it'll be an opportunity for Carson Blair. The first major league start for Carson Blair. He made his major league debut on Sunday against Seattle, and that was when Stephen Vogt had to leave the game. He did hit in that game in the bottom of the 8th inning, and he walked. He was rushed into duty.
Yeah, it really was. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. But I know his heart rate was racing, but he kept under control, had a good at bat, walked late in the game.
One 1-0 to Carson Blair. Last year, Blair single A, double A. This year, double A, triple A. And now the big leagues. So 1-1 the count.
Looked like the cutter. And that pitch is really good for him tonight. It's moving. He's moving it in and out. Let's get that late movement.
Fastball there, and it's on the outside corner.
You can see how free and loose his motion is. Very relaxed, loose hands. He doesn't have a tight grip on the ball, and it explodes off of his delivery and gets late movement.
Blair behind in the count, 1-2. Big curve, and he swings and misses. That's a nasty pitch by Colin McHugh, who strikes out a couple in the second inning. The A's strand a pair. Third inning coming up. It's the Astros 1 and the A's nothing. photo, use hashtag CSNCA DataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. So 1-0 Astros lead. It was a Colby Rasmus home run. Now Aaron Brooks will face the top of the Astros order: Springer, Altuve, and Correa. Mariners with a 1-0 lead in the second inning over the Rangers. Angels and Dodgers are tied 1-1 in the third. Astros will be off tomorrow, and then they will be in Anaheim this weekend. And then next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at Texas. A's, of course, will fly tomorrow, and they will have a long road trip. Arlington to play the Rangers, Chicago to play the White Sox, and then back to Texas to play the Astros. Springer fouls it back. Springer grounded out on the first pitch of the game, grounded out to Lord. So the A's will have a say in this thing big time. Springer does not want to wait any longer, so he steps out. Another foul ball. Well, there's the West. Slimmest of margins between the Astros and the Rangers. Angels right at 500. Shallow right. Reddick trots in. And Reddick has it, one away. Springer's been fairly quiet in this series. That's a good thing for the A's.
Yeah, I talked about, we knew he'd come back from that injury, and maybe his timing's off just a little bit. His first at bat, he swings at the first pitch. He's done that a couple times this series, but I know when we're uncomfortable as hitters, sometimes we want to swing our way out of it, but to get our timing, maybe taking a couple pitches and trying to slow down the game is a little bit wiser. But for some reason, we do want to swing and be productive and get hits, but he hasn't had a lot of bats in the minor leagues after missing 2.5 months, so his timing looks off just a little bit.
1-0 to Altuve, who doubled into the left field corner in the first. It was his first hit in the series, so he's 1 for 9. Still leading the American League in hits. Now has 168. Kinsler has 166. Bogarts from the Red Sox has 164. Donaldson 163. Cabrera is going to win the batting title again. Remember, he missed all that time and he fell out of contention because he did not have enough at bats. But right when he got back in the lineup, Brooks thought it was strike 3, but it was not. It was strike 2. But once Cabrera got back and he started playing again, he became eligible then with enough at bats to be part of the batting title race. He's hitting 351. Michael Brandt was hitting 319. Altuve, shallow left. Simeon is going to get there. He makes the catch. 2 away here in the third. Chris Davis leads Nelson Cruz 41-39 in the race for the home run title.
Correa.
Donaldson 115 RBIs. Chris Davis 102. Kendrys Morales 101. Those are the 3 in the RBI category. A little bit low to Carlos Correa. Correa grounded out to third in his first at bat. So he is now 1 for 10 in the series. Close pitch. 2-0.
That fastball is working for Aaron tonight. It was a good pitch. It looked like it came back and caught some of the plate. Mark says no.
Correa on the backswing got a piece of Blair.
Comes back and pulls the string with a changeup and way out in front is Correa. Kind of throws him off balance and nicks him right on the max right there.
A lot of orange in them spikes. More orange than blue, I believe. Could you pull those off, Shotty?
Possibly.
Maybe.
Possibly.
I think you could. Woo! Good.
I was known to break out some new ones every once in a while.
3-2 to Correa. And he went with a, okay, maybe an off-speed pitch sinker of some sort, and Correa takes it, and it's low. So that's the first walk issued by Brooks. He's got a couple of strikeouts.
Now batting, number 30.
So Gomez will hit.
Gomez.
Gomez fouled out in the first inning. He's 3 for 10 in the series. Hitting in the cleanup spot for the Astros. And yes, Correa can run. He's got 11 steals. He's been thrown out 3 times. So not a whole lot the young man cannot do. Gomez pulled off that one. Should pull off a little bit.
Yeah, he's been doing that the whole series. Trying to find his swing. We talked about their number 4 hitter in the lineup, and AJ trying to find the answer for that, and going to give Carlos a try here for a little bit.
A big swing, fouled straight back. 0-2. Goes down to a knee. See, Beltre does that too, but Beltre actually hits it when he's on his knee.
It is pretty impressive when he does that.
Blair sets up inside. And it comes inside, and it hit him. So a walk and a hit batter, and the Astros got something going with 2 outs.
Yeah, we talked about Evan Gattis maybe being that guy to hit 4th in their lineup. I kind of like Jed Lowry. We talked about him being a professional hitter, and he comes up with big hits. But they're trying to find that combination for the lineup, score some runs on the road, and get some road victories.
Yeah, I agree. Lowry's a good clutch hitter. And here he steps in. He's hitting 5th tonight. Lowry struck out in the 2nd inning. It's that one just foul. Canna picks it up. So Brooks had 51 pitches with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Lots of speed on the bases. Getting a breeze that we did not get last night.
Thank goodness. Nice. Yes, very good.
A little cooler tonight at the ballpark. It's still warm. Last night it was just flat out hot. We do not say that very often here. He takes high to even the count at 1-1. Lowry's 1 for 6 in the series. So 1-1 the count, setting up inside. And Lowry got a good look at that one. It leaked out over the plate. So Brooks trying to finish off Lowry now, ahead in the count, 1-2. Field. Coke goes back, warning track. He's got it side retired. So a couple of Astros are stranded. We're going to the bottom of the third. It'll be the top of the order. 1-0 Houston. California is brought to you by Sight for Sore Eyes, fashion for everyone. Bottom of the third. Downtown Oakland. Astros with a 1-0 lead over the A's. So Burns to lead it off, followed by Cannon and Reddick. Keeping a close eye in the American League, but quite a series in the National League East to be exact, Shabby. How about the New York Mets?
They're playing fantastic baseball. They talked about the impact Cespedes is making over there.
HOU jumps up to grab it, throws to first. It's a nice play by Colin McHugh.
Billy hits the ball right back up the middle, and McHugh making an athletic play.
First baseman.
Playing some defense.
That keeps the Speedy Burns off the bases. Now the Mets finished off a 3-game sweep in Washington tonight, and in all 3 games they came back. In fact, last night it was 7-1, then they came back and won. Tonight the Nationals took a 2-1 lead into the 8th inning. The Mets tied it 2-2, and then the guy you just mentioned, Yoenis Cespedes, hit a 2-run homer in the top of the 8th. And when it was all said and done, the Mets beat the Nationals 5-3. So the Mets now have a 7-game lead in the National League East. That is just a crushing series.
It's been a crushing year, really.
I mean, that's true.
I think Harper gave him the kiss of death early in spring training. You know, we're the team to beat.
Can't say that.
He put a target right on their back, and
I agree. A couple of Nationals players said some stuff.
But to his defense, he's backed it up personally.
Yeah.
He's had an MVP type season. But you just never want to put that mark on your back. And they're a good team. And when you're good, you don't have to tell people you're good. You let other people tell you how good you are.
Cespedes is good.
Cespedes is very good.
Man, oh man, he's got some big hits for the Mets. The Mets with Cespedes are 25-11. Pitch to Cannon inside. Cespedes, in the 36 games that he has played with the Mets, he's got 14 home runs and 36 RBIs.
Production.
So he has come up big in New York, and the Mets are marching toward the postseason. They have not been to the postseason in a while, so that would be a big deal. Cannon hits one high in the air, shallow center. Gomez comes in, he's got it.
Maybe they could talk a little bit more about Cespedes and what he's been doing instead of the Harvey mess that got going. I mean, it's the last thing they've wanted. They've had a great year, and for some reason, always a little bit of negativity seems to find its way when you're talking about the Mets. But hopefully, cooler heads prevail, and they can come up with a plan and
back him off a little bit. You know, now you can get him ready for the postseason. You got a 7-game lead. Yeah, the Yankees got a real good chance to get in. So the Yankees and Mets have a real good chance to make the postseason.
But it's good for the Mets. They've needed this. They've been trying pretty hard for the last few years and just haven't been able to do it.
Correa throws, and a nice play by the young shortstop. The shift was on, so he had to move to his right on the backhand, and they just got Reddick. 3 up through 9 inning for McHugh. 1-0 Astros as we go to the 4th.
Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widgets, and more. Visit MLB.tv today.
So Evan Gattis to lead it off, 4th inning. Curve stays a bit high. The only run in the game was Colby Rasmus' home run in the 2nd. Rasmus is in the on-deck circle. Gattis a fly ball to center field. His first at bat. Out in front, 1-1. Gattis is 0 for 8 in the series. Straightaway defense for Evan Gattis. Simeon cannot quite get it. Under his glove and into center field. It's not interesting in between innings, Eric. I don't know. We're not quite sure what this was about, but Jose Altuve not happy. Don't know what it was about. AJ Hinch comes over and have a little bit of a heated conversation, but we're not sure what that was about.
Well, you don't think the pressure is mounting for them. It certainly is. And this happens from time to time. I'm not really sure what this is all about, but AJ comes over and diffuses the situation. You got to forget about everything that's happened. You got to take this series and the rest of this and the rest of the year game by game. I know it's a cliche, but really hit the erase button on everything that's happened. You have a 1-game lead. The only game that matters is today. Go out and win today.
And you wonder if he wasn't mad about maybe a strike call that he didn't think was a strike. That's possible. He did bat in the top of the 3rd inning. 2-0 now to Rasmus. He's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So AJ Hinch took care of it. Careful here. 2-0 to Rasmus. And he rips one right field down the line fair. Rasmus is going to try for 2. The throw is just a bit late. Gattis stops at 3rd. So 2nd and 3rd, nobody out for Marwin Gonzalez. 2-0 pitch, and this is the one Rasmus is going to hit down a little bit.
You're right. This was a dangerous count. The home run, his first at bat. And this is what they needed. They needed a good outing from Colin McHugh, and they needed somebody to step up offensively, and it looks like Colby Rasmus is going to be that guy today.
So they'll start to loosen up out in the A's bullpen. Gonzalez had a base hit in the 2nd inning.
You know, when you get in these situations, 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. These are the big at-bats right here. This at-bat with nobody out. Everybody always remembers the guy who hits with 2 outs. And they talk about that at-bat, but really, to me, this is the one as a team. You got to get this run in right here. Take the pressure off the hitter behind you.
So you're saying get it done as soon as possible.
This is a big at bat. Move the line. You move over Rasmus. Score Gattis. Ground ball to 2nd. Nothing great. Nothing. You don't need to do a lot of damage. Just continue to move the line. Productive at bat. Get him over. Get him in. Give this guy another run.
So 0-1 to Gonzalez. Shallow left. Coco's in. He's got it. Gattis is not going to try. So a huge out, and that's one away.
Yeah, and this puts a little bit more pressure now on Conger to get the job done. And that's what you want to do as an offense. You want to take the pressure off the next guy.
Number 16, Hank Conger.
But he hits a fly ball, not deep enough to score Gattis. we'll see if Brooksy can pitch out of trouble here.
So now the A's bring the infield in. Conger struck out in the second inning. He is a guy who strikes out a lot. He asks for time and gets it.
And if you're Brooksy, you want to keep the ball down right here. Obviously, the A's got the infield in. Conger has done some damage. I've seen him some at bats with pitches up in the zone, and that's what he's looking for right here to score the run.
Watches that one drop low. Springer is the on-deck hitter. Good pitch there by Brooks. Paints the outside corner.
And this was a good pitch down in the zone. Late movement. Very good pitch right there by Aaron.
So 1-1 the count to Conger. Gaddis at third. Rasmus at second. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
And he just throws a fastball with that late movement, throws it right by him, swings through it. Got 2 strikes on him now, and they need to get this run in. They really do. The way that they're playing on the road, they've got to get some momentum going, and this is a big at bat right now.
There's your infield in.
Yeah, and we talked about the other day too. The Astros had the infield in. Altuve was at second, and Billy Butler was at third. You got Evan Gaddis, doesn't run extremely well. So if you're on the left side here, Mark Canha and Brett Lawrie, go ahead and give yourself a little bit of room. Keep the ball in the infield and make a play at home plate.
Brooks looking for a strikeout. Missed off the plate.
This would be a good time for him to find that good changeup right here. I think if he throws a good one, starts it middle of the zone and finishes outside the zone, I think he can get a strikeout here. Let's see if they decide to go to that pitch.
And it's hit into left field, the base hit. 1 run scores. They're going to wave home Rasmus. Here comes Coco's throw. It's cut off. Rasmus scores. And Conger comes through with a big 2-run single. And the Astros lead 3-0.
And that was a big at bat right there. Huge at bat for the Houston Astros. Looks like Aaron wanted to go in with a fastball. Runs over the middle of the plate. Hank stays on it. Drives it to left for a big single. 2-run RBI. They're going to press the issue right here. They know Coco doesn't have an extremely good arm in left field. Rasmus off to the races. That's exactly what the Astros needed right there. Big at bat.
So Conger gets his 28th and 29th RBI. So 3-0. And here's Springer. 1 away. And 3 hits in the inning.
You know, that was a really good spot for his changeup. I wonder if he just doesn't have a good feel for it tonight. He hasn't thrown that many of them tonight. Maybe he's trying to go back and establish that fastball. He's had a good one tonight, but he just missed with location on that one.
So now it's 2-0. So another guy you got to be careful with. 2-0. Springer will not get cheated.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody on this team that does not get cheated in any count. They're up there hacking. They strike out a lot.
Two and 0. 3-0. Altuve will be next. He may have a green light here. Maybe not. It's a strike. So 3-1 to count. Good pitch. Fastball right on the outside. Springer in disagreement with Mark Ripperger.
Yeah, this pitch was right there. Very good pitch. Right on the outside part of the plate. Comes back a little late. But that's definitely a strike. I think he was looking in a little bit. You can see his hips go just a little bit early. That's probably why it appeared that that ball was so far away from him, but that was a good pitch.
Broken bat slowly hits. Simeon has it. Juggles. Throws to second to get the out there. So 2 outs. Springer aboard on a fielder's choice. Don't know that they were going to get a double play anyways, even if Simeon fielded it cleanly.
No, but that ball took a little bit of funny hop. Came up on Marcus. He stayed with it, though. Took his time. Made sure it won. Once you bobble it, you're not getting 2. Well, that was a nice job of Aaron coming back right there on that sequence to Springer.
So here's Altuve. Springer, he's having a few words with the home plate umpire. Probably time to let it all go.
Well, the tension's a little high. He's going to go back in the video and go, ooh, man.
Nothing you can do about it now. Plus, quite frankly, it was not a ridiculous call. It looked like a pretty good pitch.
No, it got plenty of the plate.
Altuve hits one high and foul. Canna in pursuit, but it'll one hop into the seats. Here's our guy with the Astros jersey. Yep, they wore those at one time. One to Jose Altuve, who has doubled and he has popped to short. Slightly open stance. Altuve stands a long ways off the plate. Couple of runs in on the Conger base hit. Line drive left center field, and that'll get down for a hit. Burns cuts it off, and they're going to wave. Springer, the ball is juggled in the outfield, and Springer's going to come around to score, and it's 4-0 Astros. There was a little juggle. And pretty good job by third base coach Gary Pettis. He saw it, and he just kept waving Springer.
Looked like a hanging slider out over the plate. Altuve reaches out, hooks it. Billy goes over, tries to cut it off, bobbles it. That bobble cost them a run. Springer going hard.
So it goes as a double and an RBI. So that is 4 hits in the inning, 2 singles, 2 doubles, and 3 runs have scored. You got to face Carlos Correa. Mariners leading the Rangers 3-0 now in the 5th inning. Angels leading the Dodgers 2-1 in the 5th.
Number 1, Carlos
Here's Correa.
Carrera.
Correa has grounded out and he has walked. First pitch is drilled into the seats, heads up. So we hope everybody's okay. .77 pitches now for Brooks, and we're in the 4th. Otero starts to throw. High fastball fouled into the 2nd level, so 0-2 to Correa.
Well, whatever Altuve was, all was right in the world with that double. I don't think whatever that skirmish was about, whatever he was upset about, was a big deal. But I do like the way AJ ran over right in the middle of it, saw it right away, and diffused the situation.
Made his all-star smiling. Line shot. Coco is right there, and he makes the catch. Side retired. 3 runs on 4 hits for the Astros. Bottom of the 4th coming up. It's now Houston 4. And thanks, Hank. A's nothing.
The season's final Throwback Thursday, presented by Chevron Extra Mile. At this Throwback Thursday, 5,000 fans will receive a commemorative Coco Crisp button. For tickets and information, go to athletics.com/Thursday.
Coco will hit third in this inning. The Valencia, Laurie, and Crisp. So just one hit allowed by Colin McHugh through the first 3 innings. That was Simeon's single in the second. So he's done a good job so far. A couple of walks, a couple of strikeouts. He doesn't mess around either. He's a get it and go guy. Valencia lined out to Marwin Gonzalez. First baseman shift is on. Gonzalez, when he caught his line drive in the first inning, standing about where he is right now, and that's way over toward second base. Outfield pulled slightly toward right field, so interesting shift for Valencia.
And it's kind of the area too where Marwin is playing that we've seen Valencia go. He's got a lot of base hits to right field, using the other side of the field for hits. So we know the numbers are big with the Astros, and they have them shifted exactly where they want them.
We're surprised now when we see a hitter come up and there's not a shift.
Right.
You may have got out just at the right time. Because the shift the last couple of years is just, it's become part of baseball. And you never really thought that much about it.
Yeah, about the last 3 years of my career, they started to do it. And some teams did it against me and some didn't. I wasn't really quite sure why that happened.
Did it bother you though?
No.
I mean, did you notice it, or you just...
No, I use the other side of the field anyway, so it...
Well, it's probably here to stay.
It's here to stay.
And there it is. It works for the Astros. Normal positioning. That's a base hit into center field, but Altuve was right there. Can be frustrating for a hitter. Although that ball not hit necessarily very hard, but still,
Second baseman,
you always think
number 50,
he went ball up the middle.
And that's what they taught you as a hitter, keep the ball up the middle. Now it's, I really do think, when we talk about this all the time, when hitters use the other side of the field, it looks so pretty from up here. It looks so easy. The hitters are definitely going to have to start practicing hitting the ball the other way and finding a technique that works for them in an approach.
Laurie struck out in the second inning. See, that's that cutter that he throws so often. 86, 87, 88 miles an hour. Watch it just move away.
Yeah, it just darts away at the last second.
So that's his go-to pitch right there. He may throw it again. Staying alive. Spoils a pretty good pitch right there.
Yeah, when you have 3 pitches, you can throw for strikes and you can locate them. It's the reason why Colin McHugh is so tough. Looks like he's going to go with that curveball right here.
And that is that big overhand curve. You're going to get it once in that bat. You just don't know when he's going to throw it.
Yeah, and it's such a good curveball too. I don't know that you ever want to go up there looking for it.
Outside, and now the count 2-2. That was the cutter again. 88 miles an hour. Struck him out. So the second time Laurie has struck out. Give McHugh 3 Ks, 2 away here.
And this was the front door cutter. He's been going away mostly to righties with the cutter. Switches it up.
Left fielder.
Starts on the inside part of the plate, comes back, and Brent's been a little frustrated the last couple of days.
So Coco will hit, 2 outs. He fouled out to third in the second inning. First pitch strike. So McHugh starting to lock in a little bit. Curve, and it's a strike right over the top. 0-2.
There was that big curveball again, top of the zone, and he's got it all working tonight.
This time he throws it down in the dirt. Coco does not chase.
But whatever the Astros pitching philosophy is, and the coaching staff they have working with these pitchers, they're doing a phenomenal job. Excuse me.
And another breaking ball, and Coco swings over top. So 7 in a row retired by Colin McHugh. 4-0 Astros after 4. CSN California is brought to you by Max Muscle Sports Nutrition, now with 25 Bay Area locations. Come visit our newest stores in Pleasanton and Gilroy. 4-0 the Astros lead. So if the A's are going to sweep the first place Astros, they will have to come back. Still time. Swings and misses and goes down to an E again.
Seen this all series. Big swing, coming unglued, knee to the ground, helmet off.
Oh, 0-1 to Gomez, who has fouled out and been hit by a pitch. He's really pulling off. Gomez hitting just .231 with the Astros. This is the 36th game he has played. That Venditti is up and loosening. follow, and then Gaddis here in the 5th inning. Fastball this time. Gomez does not chase it. He's been chasing that ball up. Foul straight back, right over top of Lowry in the on-deck circle.
And I know Carlos wants to get on track here, but you want to start small right now until you get feeling good and hot. Maybe a couple broken bat hits the other way. Think small, get hot, and then you can start letting it eat.
'85 pitches for Brooks. Another foul ball right side. Telling you, it's a good night for foul balls. Coco's on the move near the wall, and it's off the wall. And that's a leadoff double for Carlos Gomez. So hit number 8.
And with 2 strikes, he didn't look like he completely made his swing smaller, but fouled off a couple of tough pitches, got one he can handle. Hits it for a double off the wall. Maybe thought it was gone there for a second.
So that double knocks Brooks out of the game. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. It's your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
Plans are on sale now. Get on board early with 2016 priority seating and choose your exact seating location for next season. The A's offer a variety of full and partial season plans that qualify for great benefits, including half-price parking, a flexible ticket exchange program, and more. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/2016.
So Brooks is out 4+ innings. And Pat Venditti takes over. Facing a switch hitter, he lets everybody know he's going to throw right-handed. So Lowry will hit left-handed. Leadoff man aboard with the double by Gomez. Gaddis will be next.
I think if you're the Astros, I think you say thank you very much. You want Lowry just to roll over here, get Gomez to third. A lot easier to do as a left-handed hitter than a right-handed hitter.
One and two with a 3.72 ERA is Venditti, his 17th appearance. Missed outside, 2-0. For Brooks, 8 hits, 4 runs so far in 87 pitches. And he did not have an easy inning. He was in trouble every inning. Foul back. Mariners 5, Rangers nothing in the 5th inning. Angels still leading the Dodgers 2-1. Game 6th.
Still think the Angels have a little run in them too. They're only 5.5 back.
Lowry, a line shot right field. Reddick is there. Gomez tags. He's going to try for third. The throw is not quite in time. So pretty good base running by Gomez. He hustled back to tag up, and he tested the very powerful arm of Reddick.
Judd does. He gives himself up, hooks the ball over to right field. Josh plays it perfectly. Strong arm. Gives it a good try. Great play by Josh right there. Gomez doing the right thing. Go back and tag. Get to third.
That close. And he got there.
Number 11,
So
Evan
good call at
Gattis.
third. And a big 90 feet, so the infield has to come in. So Gattis, his third at bat. He pops it up, and it'll be into the seats. Just 2 are left. So that gentleman moved down into the walkway, and he ended up with the baseball. He positioned himself well. See, there he is. It's my ball. Come on, dude. I think maybe the gloating had something to do with her unhappiness as well.
The celebrating.
High and deep down the left field line into the corner and gone. Evan Gattis right down the line. It's a 2-run homer. It's 6-0 Astros. Well, the way the ball shot downward, it may have hit the foul pole. So Gattis with a big hit.
And this is what good situational hitting does. Lowry moves the runner over to third. They bring the infield in. Much easier to hit with the runner on third. Less than 2 outs. Infield in. Gattis gets a pitch he can handle. Gets it to the outfield. See if it does hit the foul pole. And I think it does. Yep.
Good effort by Coco. And that is home run number 23 for Gattis. He now has 75 RBIs. The Astros now 2 home runs tonight, 5 home runs in this series.
This really was a big game for them. They needed to come out and have the outing by McHugh that he's had so far and put up 6 in 5 innings offensively.
Yeah, you're right. They needed just a good all-around effort. And so far, they have got it. Perez starts to throw. 2-2 now to Rasmus. A homer and a double. And he has scored twice. 2. That's Marwin Gonzalez. He will be next. Slider got a little bit too much at the plate, and foul ball alley. The King got one. He's there every game.
Do we have a count? How many he's...
Oh my gosh.
His fielding percentage?
I think he actually allows other people to get him once in a while. That one was just too easy. And there's the walk. So Rasmus is aboard for the 3rd time. Here's Gonzalez, who's a switch hitter, and Gonzalez waits to see what Venditti's going to do. Venditti says I'm throwing left-handed. So Gonzalez has the wrong helmet on. So we got the proper helmet. No, we don't. Got to have a shin guard.
If you're the hitter and you know this is a possibility, wouldn't you take both helmets?
Both helmets. Just have both helmets sitting right there. Well, we got to have a different bat as well. So I think we got everything under control.
He's got his right-handed bat. Put away his left-handed bat.
So we're officially ready as Gonzalez is in the box. First pitch is low. Gonzalez is playing first base tonight. He's become super utility guy for the Astros. And he's really done a good job. In fact, this is his 16th start at first base, but the first base thing is pretty new to him. Middle infielder by trade.
And he's played, what, 5 different positions?
Yeah, he's played left field. So he's become extremely valuable for the Astros. Take it all the way, and it's a strike. 2-1. He's probably not helping the pace of game rules, but that's a different story.
Maybe this goes under the special circumstance.
That's true. Tough play. Reddick on the move. Not going to get it. Bounces up against the wall. Rasmus digging for 3rd, and they'll hold him up there. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. So Venditti struggling.
Yeah, he's been ineffective to these hitters. Good approach by Marwin.
Number 16, Hank Conger.
Stays on it, goes the other way. Good piece of hitting.
So Kurt Young on his way out. Kurt's got the bad Achilles tendon, but he says he's going to be all right.
Well, it doesn't affect his golf game. I know that.
He can swing it.
Played golf with Kurt and Mike Gallego on the off day when the A's went down to Arizona. We got out there pretty early, about 7 a.m. Played 36 holes on a bad Achilles.
Yep.
Played a pretty good round too.
So you guys were smart. You got out there early.
Yeah,
before it hit triple digits.
That's the only way you can play in Arizona. 3 times the last week when I had played with them, I was up at 5:30 just to get out there and play.
Here's Conger. Conger swings and misses. Conger drives one to center. That's hit well. Burns going back. He's under it. He's got it. Plenty deep to get Rasmus home. And it will also get Gonzalez to third. So sacrifice fly, 7-0. Conger has 3 RBIs. It was interesting. He took that at bat left-handed, and he's a switch hitter.
That was interesting, yes. But another good at bat by Hank. Second and third again.
So 3 runs in, and that's going to do it for Venditti. So R.J. Alvarez is coming in.
Your attention,
we'll be back.
please.
7-0 Astros lead.
Number 37.
Might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile, and tonight's fan photos from Ant, A's fan since the 1980s. So 7-0 Astros lead. It's still just the 5th inning. Astros have scored 3 times here in the 5th. So R.J. Alvarez comes in, and he'll face Springer. Springer takes a fastball outside. So Venditti goes 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 2 runs so far. '15th appearance for R.J. Alvarez. Time to get that ERA down. Fastball there, 1-1. Springer is 0 for 3, reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 4th inning. 2 for 11 in this series. Misses away. Now Brooks went 4+. Venditti and now Alvarez. So 3rd pitcher of the inning for the A's. Fastball in, 3-1.
And RJ and Fernando Rodriguez both have very good stuff from the right side, power arms, and they just need to find their niche.
.3-1 is blasted to center, and that's hit a ton. Burns is back. He's at the wall. He leaps, and he caught it right in front of the wall. Billy Burns grabbed it to retire the side. So what a play by the rookie center fielder, Billy Burns. Worth another look. Every single night, and the home of the official post-game show of the teams. Sunday to Sunday, the home of authentic Raiders fans is CSN. Getting ready for Raiders and the Bengals, week 1 of the NFL. We'll play right here at the Coliseum on Sunday. 7-0 Astros lead. It's the bottom of the 5th inning. And Colin McHugh goes back to work. He's retired 7 in a row. He's got 4 strikeouts. And that one is driven to right center, and that's hit well. And that baby's gone. Butler homers, and the A's are on the board at 7-1.
And the A's have not been able to solve Colin. Billy goes up there aggressive. First pitch swinging. Gets the ball up in the zone. Drives it to right field for an opposite home run. Continues his hot hitting. I think that's a 10-game hitting streak for Billy now.
And he's got a good swing going right now. It's indeed 10 games. Walk and a home run tonight. One to Simeon, who singled in the 2nd inning. For Colin McHugh, that's the 17th home run he has allowed in 177 innings. Carson Blair will be next. Off the end of the bat, and that cut fastball again at 87 miles an hour. Three and 2 the count. Bunch of base runners. Down the right field line, and it reached the seats. Billy Burns to end the inning. Tough to say whether it would have went out or not. It was close.
Yeah, definitely would have hit the top of the wall. We know that. Springer puts a good swing on it. Bailey goes back, uses the speed, jumps a little early, stays up in the air long enough to make a pretty good catch.
A little flare, and it's going to fall. So Simeon has his second hit. He'll take it. Altuve hustling back, just could not quite get to it.
Looks like a fastball that just ran on him a little bit. Marcus maybe thinking cutter, staying on it, breaks his back, finds a hole.
So 3 hits now for the A's, and here's Blair. First pitch away. .25 years old is Carson Blair. Originally a draft pick of the Red Sox. And the bat goes flying. Pass around Washington. So the count even at 1-1.
And this was a pretty good bat toss right there by Blair. But what makes Collins so tough is his windup is repeatable, nice fluid motion. He has the same release point on every pitch. Sometimes with a pitcher you can pick up something different. On an off-speed pitch, he drops his arm slot just a little bit. Speeds up his windup, but Collins keeps everything the same, smooth. He doesn't overthrow any of his pitches, and you just, as a hitter, you don't know what it's going to do.
Not quite as sharp this inning. He had back-to-back 3-up, 3-down innings in the third and the fourth.
They did have a long inning offensively last inning, so.
Swing there by Blair. So the count even at 2-2 with Simeon at first. A run in on Butler's home run. Infield that double play depth. Outfield shifted toward right. And shallow in right is Springer. Pitch 3-2. On deck hitter Billy Burns. Simeon runs, and the ball's tapped toward the shortstop. Correa waits, gets the hop, throws in time. So out number 1, but Simeon now at second base. Correa had to wait on that one. Just get a good hop.
Center fielder, number 1.
Now top of the order, Burns. Burns is 0 for 2. Pop out and a ground out. Ground out was to the pitcher. Burns now 4 for 11 in the series. High fastball fouled straight back. Some rookie information, and where does Billy Butler stand? Mitchell Page had the best ever rookie batting average in A's history at 307. Billy's at 295. Up there in triples as well. He's got 8. Luis Polonia had 10 in 1987. Jamal Weeks on that list, and as was Mitchell Page. He won a Cespedes, a rookie, in 2012. One pitch to Burns is high, and now it's 2-1. He's trying to crawl back into this game, trailing 7-1.
And if you're looking for the bright spots for the Oakland A's in 2015, I think Billy definitely is at the top of that list. I think finding Danny Valencia. Of course, Sonny. Of course, he's at the. He does what he does. He looked phenomenal yesterday. Ryan Dole has looked good. Marcus Semien has made strides at short. He's going in the right direction. Mark Canha has been fantastic. And then, of course, today, the A's extending Bob Melvin as their manager.
Yeah. Grounded into right field. That's a base hit. Simeon's being waved home. Springer's throw is cut off. Throwback, and it hits Burns, but he'll stay at first, so it's 7-2. Billy Burns comes through.
Great piece of hitting by Billy right here. Gets a cutter, brings his hands in, gets the barrel of the ball, shoots through the hole. And the key to this play is Marcus Semien getting a good jump, anticipating the ball through the zone. He was off right away, right with contact, running hard. No, Springer's got a good arm. Good job by Marcus right there. What a good jump he had at second. Makes the third base coach Ron Washington's job a lot easier.
Canha hits one high in the air, but in the ballpark. Deep left center field, and Gomez fires it back in, and the ball rolls around and finally stopped by Gonzalez, the first baseman. So 2 outs.
Right fielder, number 22, Josh
And now Reddick will hit. A couple of runs in. Yeah, they're into it. George Michael's back. Reddick takes a fastball inside from McHugh. McHugh at 86 pitches. Pitch count getting up there quickly. He's going to need some help from his bullpen tonight.
And he was cruising along pretty easily. His offense had a good inning, a little long inning for him last half inning. Maybe sat around a little bit too long. Just not as sharp as he's been.
So there's the breakdown. 24 in this inning alone. Make it 25. Shift is on for Reddick. Correa playing behind second base. And now it's 3-1. Reddick has popped to short and grounded to short. Reddick hits it high and foul. Lower level. So Burns ready to take off. 3-2, 2 outs. He goes, and the ball's hit to right, and that's hit well. Springer's back near the wall, and that baby's gone. We got a ball game, 7-4.
If it's mental or physical when they have that layoff like that. His offense puts up 7 runs. And he just kind of loses his feel, leaves a cutter. Just didn't have that late break on it. 3-2. Josh has been very quick on that inside pitch pretty much the whole year. He knew it was gone right away too when he hit it. The A's answered back. They're making it a ball game.
So for Reddick, his 16th home run, he now has 68 RBIs. So Valencia will hit. So 15 straight game that the A's have hit a home run. Butler and Reddick in this inning. Valencia had a good swing, fouls it back. So Chad Qualls is up. Can't wait around anymore if you're the Astros. And it's 0-2. Fastball at 90 miles an hour. Valencia, a line out and a ground out so far today. Two pitch way outside, not close. And the breaking ball drops in for a strike. So Valencia called out, but the A's score 4 times. Couple of home runs. Butler hit one, and so did Reddick. So we got a ball game, 7-4 Astros after 5. So the A's with a 4 spot in the 5th, and now it's 7-4. 4 innings left to play. So Reddick's homer, Butler's homer. Burns with an RBI hit in that bottom of the 5th inning. So RJ Alvarez, you got to get your team back in the dugout.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll face Altuve, Correa, and Gomez. First pitch, a slider for a strike to Altuve. Altuve has a pair of doubles. He's 2 for 3. He knocked in a run in the 4th. Another slider, this one a little bit outside. Mariners still leading the Rangers 6-0 that game in the 7th inning. Angels leading the Dodgers 2-1 in the 8th. And that one is belted down the left field line, but foul into the 2nd level. So Altuve, well, he got that bat head through there, but it landed in a good spot. The young lady has it.
He's got some power in there in that bat too. Don't let his size fool you. This guy can play.
With his 2 doubles, he's now got 28 doubles on the year to go along with his 11 home runs. Line drive, this one foul. Scotty making a play down there.
You know, I think with Altuve, you just throw all hitting technique out the window. He's out front. He's aggressive. He swings a lot of pitches, expands the zone, but he just continues to get hits. It works for him. Puts the barrel of the ball. Doesn't strike out a lot. Doesn't walk a lot.
And did that hit him? It did. So Altuve is aboard, hit by a pitch. And now they're saying no. And Altuve can't believe it. A.J. Hinch is going to come out.
Tough to tell. Not really sure. Yeah, missed him.
Huh.
Good effort. Get on base any way you can.
So 2-2 is the count. Hits one in the air to shallow left. Coca comes in. And that's out number 1. Time now for the Ford right choice. August 19th of this year, Carlos Correa in just his 62nd game hits his 15th home run of the year. And then in the 13th inning, he walks off. Only 2 of the players in Major League history to have 15 home runs before the age of 21 in less games. Willie Mays and Frank Robinson. So quite a start to the career of Carlos Correa, and I think it's going to be a special one. This one hit down the right field line, but foul. So that's not just rookie shortstops. That's all shortstops. Tied for second in home runs. And you have to keep this in mind. This is just his 77th game this year. Another jam shot, foul.
I think you might be worried a little bit with the young guy, 20 years old, coming up having success. Maybe get into his head a little bit, but the type of young man that this guy is, He's going to continue to work hard and get better and keep a level head about him. From everything that we've heard from the Astros people, this is a tremendous human being.
Pitch, jammed again, fights it off. Alvarez getting right in on the hands of Carlos Correa. Blocked by Blair. Chased it. So 2 away here in the top of the 6th inning.
This was a backup slider. I think the pitches that made that, though, you were right. He threw a couple fastballs in on the hands of Correa and had him guessing just a little bit. Swung at a bad pitch. RJ has his stuff. He's intimidating up there. He's got a good hard fastball, hard in. Throw that slider away.
First pitch to Gomez. Fastball foul back. 93 miles an hour. You got pretty good movement. That 3/4 delivery. To the left, and that one is way out of here. Gomez with a home run. So it's 8-4 Houston. Another long one. And somehow 2 baseballs get thrown back.
Yeah, this was a hanging slider, and Carlos almost hit a ball out. Last at bat, hit it off the top of the wall for a double. Comes back. It's a hanging slider. Kind of looking at his dugout. Hot dogging just a little bit.
It's getting weird at the ballpark, John. So Lowry hits. Lowry's 0 for 3. Up and away in the count, 1-1. Lowry with a strikeout, a fly ball to left field, and then he lined out to right. Abad starts to throw.
And you can see RJ has the good stuff. He just needs to work on location, consistently getting the ball where he wants to get it. And he just kind of loses his release point every once in a while. He missed with that slider over the middle of the plate, and Carlos did not miss it.
High pop-up. Fastball in. Valencia waits. He's got it side retired. Gomez with a home run, his third as a member of the Astros. The bottom of the 6th coming up. 8-4 Houston.
There's been 5 home runs in this ball game. A deep one by Colby Rasmus to right field early in the game to get the Astros going. Then Evan Gattis with a home run off the left field foul pole. And Billy Butler getting the A's going with an opposite field home run on the first pitch. Josh Reddick with a 3-2 hanging cutter that did not move deep to right. And then Carlos Gomez with a hanging slider off of R.J. Alvarez. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT, mobilizing your world.
Colin McHugh had a very tough 5th inning, threw a lot of pitches, gave up 4 runs, but he's back out there with bullpen activity for the Astros. Laurie, Crispin, Butler here in the bottom of the 6th. There's Chad Qualls. He was up last inning and he is up again, so he's pretty much ready to go. Up the middle, Correa, long ways to go, throws to first, not in time. Infield hit for Laurie. A's are at it again.
Yeah, a little surprised to see Colin back out there again, but he goes with that cutter. Brett hits it off the end. Hustling all the way, and he looks like he beat that pretty easily. Had his momentum going towards first as he reached for the cutter. Carlos making a strong athletic throw. Just a little bit late.
So Coco steps in. Laurie comes in on the grass at third. First pitch is inside. Coco has fouled out and struck out so far. And he lines one to right, but Springer got a great jump and he tracks it down. That's a heck of a play by George Springer in right field. Great jump and good speed. That's a nice combination.
Yeah, and the A's have been putting some really good swings on Collins' pitches the last few innings. A little surprised he went back out there for the 6th. It looks like AJ's going to go out there and go to the bullpen.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair
Your attention,
experts.
please, ladies and gentlemen. Coming in to pitch for Houston, number 50, Chad Qualls.
Is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
So Colin McHugh was rolling along, but then the 5th inning, he had to work extra hard. And here in the 6th, runs out of gas, right at 100 pitches. 6 hits, 4 runs, and 5 1/3. He was sharp early, gave up just 1 hit in the first 4 innings. So it'll be extra work for the bullpen tonight for the Astros if they're going to hold on to an 8-4 lead. Chad Qualls comes in. Workhorse, 53rd appearance. He faces Butler. To the backstop, and Laurie to second. So the first pitch Qualls throws is a wild pitch. And that's big because Butler is a guy that hits into a lot of double plays.
Yeah, and he's a hot hitter right now too, so you don't want to put a runner in scoring position, and that's got to drive you crazy if you're the manager. AJ, first pitch, wild pitch, just giving away a base.
And there's a base hit to right field. Here comes Laurie. They're waving him home. Here comes Springer's throw up to line. Laurie scores 8-5. So stay hot, Billy Butler.
And there you go. The next pitch hurts him. Sinker, hot hitter. Stays inside of it, hits it to right. Brett Laurie always hustling, going hard. And you just wonder if AJ wanted to see if Colin can give him some more innings, because that bullpen has shown a little bit of vulnerability.
So now Simeon steps in. Harris starts to throw. It's Will Harris. Qualls sinker. He got a hard sinker. That one called a strike. Swing and a miss, and now Simeon behind in the count 1-2. They need a pinch hitter. It's possible. Blair is the on-deck hitter. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Simeon is the second out here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Jack comes back with a really good slider, down hard, good tilt, starts it in a good spot. Marcus not able to put the barrel on it.
Number 39, Carson Blair.
You know, that ball, that wild pitch, and to me that was a pretty catchable ball by Conger. He's known for pitch framing, but when it comes to blocking balls, not all that good.
Should be into the seats, and it is.
And he does rank up there with getting called strikes for his pitchers.
So 0-1 the count to Carson Blair. Blair has struck out and grounded to short. It's a pitch on the inside corner, and it's 0-2.
He goes back to that slider again. It's almost a slurve with that action. Sliders usually go down and away to right-hand hitters, but this one is working straight down. It's a tough pitch right there.
Slider is just a little bit outside. Now Quells thought it was a strike. run in for the A's here in the 6th. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Qualls gets out of it, but Butler with the RBI single. So we're on to the 7th inning. Astros 8, Athletics 5. Here's our true story brought to you by McDonald's with help from Bob Uecker. Listen in.
Back in against Mesa, who is working from the windup. The 0-1 pitch. Swings, and there it is! A base hit in the right center. He's done it. 3,000 for Robin.
So that was on this date in 1992. Robin Yount collects his 3,000th hit. He finished with 3,142 hits.
Leading off the top of the 7th inning for Houston.
251 career home runs. His entire career was played with the Milwaukee Brewers. Robin Yount.
Really good player.
Yeah. Great shortstop, and then moved to center field.
It's going to be my neighbor here in a few months. He's on the house out right down the street.
Robin Yount. Saw that video when he got to first base. The guy that was hugging him was Paul Molitor.
A lot of hits between those two.
Yeah. Here's Gaddis facing Fernando Abad. Paul Molitor's team, the Minnesota Twins, who refused to go away. It's a good night for the Twins. They beat the Kansas City Royals 3-2 in 12 innings. And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune Up, your oil change, tune up, and repair experts. So there's the numbers for Abad. So the Twins get a win, and the Rangers and the Yankees both lost, and the Twins are now just a game and a half back of the Rangers for the second wild card.
Wow.
Twins just will not go away. They're 72 and 67 now, and right in that wild card race. That's a big win in extra innings in Kansas City. Woo! Orioles beat the Yankees 5-3. Jimenez got the win. CC Sabathia back. He started that game, got a no decision. Two pitches at the knees, strike 3 call. So Gaddis is called out on strikes. He's 2 for 4 now.
Fernando just comes back with a fastball right down the middle.
Colby
And Gaddis just can't pull the trigger. Maybe looking for a slider. Pulls off, takes his eyes off just a little bit.
So here's Colby Rasmus. Homer, double, walk. He has scored 3 times. The Blue Jays lost today. The Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 10-4. Joe Kelly got the win. Hutchison got the loss. Another home run for David Ortiz. He's got 32 on the year, 498 in his career. Like 3 years ago when he had a tough first 2 months and everybody said, is he done? It's been a good career, but I think he's done. 32 homers this year for Big Poppy. Rasmus out in front. Is it foul? So both the Blue Jays and the Yankees lose. So the Blue Jays lead stays at 1.5 in the AL East. Dan Otero starting to throw, and those two teams are set to square off starting tomorrow. 4-game series at Yankee Stadium. Blue Jays and the Yankees. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That should be a lot of fun. Swing and a miss. So Rasmus strikes out, and back-to-back strikeouts for Fernando Abad.
That is 2 strikeouts in a row for Fernando. Goes with the slider. The first one a fastball.
Now batting.
Had Rasmus out just in front just a little bit. Swings right through it.
Gonzalez steps in for the 4th time. He's 2 for 3. Rays beat the Tigers 8-0. I believe that the Detroit Tigers have the 2nd worst record in the American League. That is hard to believe. We kept thinking they were going to make a run at some point too, and they never did.
Yeah, and at the deadline they were, are we going for it or are we not?
Well, I think they probably did the right thing, trading David Price.
I think you're right too.
Oh, 1 to Gonzalez. And he drives one to left. Coco's going back, and that one's gone. Another home run for the Astros. So that is their 4th home run on the night and their 7th in this series.
He actually took a peek down to third base too. I think he had bunt on his mind. Valencia came in. Got a fastball right down the middle.
16.
Put a really good swing on it. Swung the bat extremely well tonight, this whole series, and he's been a key player for AJ Hinch all over the field. Switch hitter. Or whatever they're trying to feed each other, they're missing.
They're not missing the baseball, though.
No, they're not.
11 players with double-digit home runs. That ties a major league record. And that was his 10th right there. And you think about that too. Jed Lowry is not one of those guys.
He's got 8.
Of course, he's been hurt a lot this year.
You got to think, and especially hitting in that ballpark, he's going to go deep at least twice in the month of September. So
Conger now hits right-handed against the left-handed pitcher. He did not do that against Venditti. He actually batted left-handed against Venditti, who declared that he was going to throw left-handed.
And he actually had a good swing off it too.
Burns comes in. He's got it. Side retired. Another home run for the Astros. This one is Marwin Gonzalez. 7th inning stretch from the Coliseum. Astros 9, A's 5.
brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
So now 9-5. And we got a new pitcher. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Get your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. It's Will Harris, who's had a very nice season for the Astros. 5-2 with a 1.34 ERA. So he'll face Burns, Canna, and Reddick.
Do think he's been the best reliever in that pen for them. Had the best year at least so far.
Part of the reworked bullpen. Oh, 2 to Burns. Harris was a waiver claim from Arizona in November this past offseason. Pitched in 29 games for Arizona last year, 61 games for Arizona in 2013. You wonder why a team lets a guy like this go.
Well, he would just have some innings that just blew up on him. He'd throw the ball extremely well, and all of a sudden he would just lose it.
And a chance for an infield hit, and it is an infield hit. So make it 36 infield hits now for Burns.
But he still has the same stuff. Good cutter, good curveball. It looked like the cutter just taps it. Uses his good speed to beat out the leg out another hit. Good play by Will. He bounced on it, made a good play. Just a little bit late with Billy's speed.
So Canna steps in. Pitch to Canna, call the ball. Canna has a walk and a couple of fly balls to center field. And now the count 1-1. Reddick to follow. Have hit a couple of home runs tonight. 4 by the Astros. Woo! So 1-2.
When you talk about why would a team let it go like Will Harris, let a player like Will Harris go, and sometimes a new environment, you get with a new voice, a new coach, and things click for you.
Lead for Burns. He's well out there. So 2-2 the count. Mariners shut out the Rangers. It's final now 6-0. Seager hit a couple of home runs. Trumbo hit a homer, and the Rangers got just 1 hit in that game.
Seager's some kind of hot, isn't he?
Yes, he is. They got 1 more game to play in that series. It'll be a mid-afternoon game in Seattle tomorrow. The Rangers will head home and get ready for the Athletics this weekend. So the Astros see they have a chance to pick up a game, add a game to their lead in the division. And there's a base hit right field. Canna just reached for it. Burns will stop at second. So here come the Athletics in the 7th.
The offense continues to roll. Looks like a cutter outside part of the plate. Mark hits it off the end. And like we've seen him do so much. Hits to right field. Home runs to left field. Billy just waiting for the ball to pass him. He's got enough speed to get to second right there. Just got to make sure the first baseman doesn't catch that.
So now Reddick steps in. Nobody out. Reddick fouls it straight back. Reddick's got one of the A's 2 home runs. 2-run shot in the 5th.
It was a 3-2 cutter. And it just ran over back the middle of the plate, and Josh did not miss it. As soon as he hit it, he knew it was gone. And the tunes are working for him. This is not going to be an easy month of September for the Astros. They're going to have to work extremely hard. This road trip is so key for them. Even in a game where they've scored 9, it's not a comfortable feeling in that dugout right now for the Astros staff.
Reddick bounces one. Altuve has it, fires to second to get the out there. So 1 out, and the runners will be at the corners.
There's no way this ball is going to be turned to. Josh gets down the line and shooting. Just take the out, make sure it won.
Well, Shabby, after tonight's game, the Astros have 22 games left. 13 on the road and 9 at home. First pitch to Valencia is rolled foul. Big swing by Valencia. I think he got a pitch that he liked. Valencia tonight, a line out, a ground out, and a strikeout. Inside corner call to strike, and Valencia doesn't like it.
Look like a front door cutter. I think Danny's right. I think it was a little bit inside. Oh, maybe it caught a little bit of the plate. Tough pitch.
So now it's an 0-2 count. Runners at the corners. Did he go? No.
Yeah, and I think if they would have called this a swing, you would have seen an animated Danny Valencia right there, but it looks like he did hold up his swing.
And he strikes out, and that is the second out of the inning. Valencia could not put it in play to get the run home.
Will comes back with a good hard curveball that he has. Danny not able to put the barrel on it.
So it's up to Laurie. Laurie is 1 for 3. An infield hit in the 6th, and he scored a run. Fastball is high. Nine hits in the game for the A's, 12 hits for the Astros. There has not been an error committed. And this one's popped up, shallow left field. It'll be the shortstop Correa who takes care of it, side retired. So a couple of hits for the A's, but they do nothing with it. 8th inning coming up. By Hyundai. It's tonight at 10:30 on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. A full report on Bob Melvin's 2-year contract extension, so he will be the A's manager through 2018. And we'll have a report from Raiders practice, and Cal gets ready for San Diego State. The Medford Kate Melvin will host. We have reached the top of the 8th inning with the Astros leading 9-5, trying to salvage the final game of this series. And the A's bring on Dan Otero. He's the 5th pitcher of the night for the Athletics. First pitch to Springer is looped foul. Otero in game number 33. Couple of wins, very high ERA at 7.68. Every pitcher the A's have used tonight has been scored upon. So the Astros have added a run in the 7th, and they've added a run in the 8th, and it has the feel of one of those games where the add-on runs could be very important. That game in Anaheim is final. The Angels beat the Dodgers 3-2. Dodgers had tied it in the top of the 8th. Angels came right back and scored a run in the bottom of the 8th and then hung on to win it. So a much needed win for the Angels. So they pick up a game on that second wild card team, the Rangers. They're now 3.5 back. Angels will be off Thursday, and they will host these Astros over the weekend. And that one hits Springer. So the 2-2 pitch comes inside, and Springer's aboard. It's one of those nights where nothing's easy, really, for either side.
Yeah, Danny comes back with a sinker, just kind of runs on him a little bit. So just takes it right off his thigh, upper thigh.
Altuve.
So now Altuve will hit. He's 2 for 4 tonight with 2 doubles. 2 doubles his first 2 hits of the series. And there goes. The ball's bounced to Otero, who looks at second but gets the out at first. So Springer was on the move. He gets himself in scoring position. So A.J. Hinch says, I cannot take my foot off the gas here.
Number 1, Carlos Correa.
That did look like a hit and run. Springer was off with the pitch. And I like that. Just don't sit. Make things happen. They're an aggressive ball club. Got a sinker ball pitcher on the mound.
Correa is 0 for 3. He walked in the 3rd. Good sinker there by Otero. So when the A's get to Arlington for the weekend, on Friday night it'll be Jesse Chavez and Colby Lewis. Colby Lewis, a 14-game winner. Saturday it'll be Sean Nolan and Giovanni Gallardo. It'll be nice and toasty warm in Arlington. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. And then on Sunday, Felix Dubront and Cole Hamels. So there you have it with the start times. We will have all those games for you right here on CSN California, starting Friday night with Chavez and Lewis.
Gallardo's really had a nice year. Colby Lewis has had a nice year. He's had a nice career, actually. Went over to Japan for a little bit, came back, and he's really done well.
Well, it's that veteran presence that just made a big difference for the Rangers. So, these will see a Rangers team that's playing great baseball. They lost tonight, but they're trying to get back to the postseason. They're coming so close. The World Series. That one past Blair. And Springer goes to 3rd. So it's a wild pitch.
Slider down out of the way. Blair tries to slide over. Good technique, just a little bit too far.
Infield has to come in now with Springer at 3rd. Belted foul. Down and in, and Correa golfed it. Broken bat, slowly hit. Semien charges. Springer trying for home, and he is safe. Well, he run it perfectly, and as soon as Semien released it, he took off and he beat the throw. And it's 10-5 Astros lead.
This is perfectly timed by George right there. He gets out there, and you could tell he was anticipating going. Marcus looked at him, thought that was going to be enough. It wasn't. He took off.
Gomez.
He's out there right away. If Marcus turns and throws right there to Danny, you might get him. But I think in the back of his mind, he was committed. He was going to go. Good slide. Beats the tag by Blair.
Little pop-up. And Semien makes a heck of a play. So that's how the inning ends, but some aggressive base running helps the Astros get a run without a hit. 10-5 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. 10-12-0 for the Astros, 5-9-0 for the Athletics. It's been another busy game on the base paths. Colin McHugh, 5 1/3. 4 home runs by the Astros. Aaron Brooks got knocked around. The A's have hit a couple of home runs. Butler's got one, and Reddick has one. So 6 home runs total hit in tonight's game. So bottom of the 8th inning, and Pat Neshek comes in. Neshek, big offseason free agent signing by the Astros. A 2-year, $12.5 million deal. Neshek had a great year last year with the Cardinals. And parlayed it into a free agent year, and he got a nice contract.
Good timing.
Neshek signed, Gregerson signed, Harris came over. Arnold Leone starts to throw. Now 3-0 to Coco Crisp. Butler to follow, and then Semien here in the bottom of the 8th. Taken all the way, trying to get aboard. He's down by 5. Final game going on in baseball. And now 3-2 to Coco Crisp, who is 0 for 3 tonight. He has fouled out, struck out, and lined out.
How many times are the A's the last game played? You said
well,
that.
Lately it's been a lot. But a good question. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. So that's 9 strikeouts for Astros pitchers.
This looked like a questionable call. Fastball in.
Designated hitter.
Comes back, but I think it was around the plate.
Butler.
Coco thought it was a ball. I think he was right.
Butler's had a big night. He has walked, homered, and singled in a run. His home run in the 5th is 11th of the year. So he's got a 10-game hitting streak now. A little bit off the plate, 1-1 the count. Missed again outside. Neshek, of course, very, very strange windup. It has to help his effectiveness. I mean, it's a one-of-a-kind windup.
Yeah, deception. And when he came up with Minnesota, he threw about 100 miles an hour. So imagine hitting that at 100.
Did you ever hit off him?
I don't remember. I do remember him coming up though with Minnesota, and it was something to watch with a guy with a windup like that.
Well, there's just nothing to kind of trigger your step or your as a hitter, because he just sort of jumps at you.
Yeah, you can't time him up.
Yeah.
You just got to look for that release point. Try to pick it up as soon as you can.
And Butler having trouble walking this one off. Pitch, roll foul right past Ron Washington. So those wild card standings updated. The Yankees still have a 4-game lead over the Rangers between the first wild card team and the second wild card team. Twins pick up a game, they're 1.5 back. Angels pick up a game, they're 3.5 back. That is a fair ball grabbed by, or he flips it across in time.
Tickets are still available for the final home series of the 2015 season when the A's play host to their Cross Bay rivals from September 25th through the 27th. Come out and support the green and gold as the A's close out this year's home slate. Get your tickets now online at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 510-638-GO-A's.
So 2 away for Semien. So we did a little research, Eric. You were 0 for 1 with a strikeout against Pat Neshek.
Okay.
So 1 at bat, you're not going to remember that. And if it was a strikeout, you shouldn't remember it anyway.
Selective memory.
Springer hustling in and playing shallow, makes the running catch. Side retired. So that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Pat Neshek. 9th inning coming up. 10-5 Astros. Earlier today, signed a 2-year contract extension. So his contract now runs through 2018 to be the manager of the Oakland A's. So he took over in 2011, in June of 2011. And then good things started to happen in 2012. And already the 3rd most wins in Oakland A's history for a manager. A down year this year, but he's a terrific manager. Everybody in all of baseball knows that. And so well deserved. So that's good news. I think there's something about stability in the front office and in the dugout.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's a good gesture on the front office part. You're right, it's been a frustrating year, but Bob and staff have done an outstanding job, and he's the right guy for the job. You're not going to find too many managers as good as Bob. Communication, motivator, quiet demeanor.
But there's a no nonsense to him too.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
But he's a good quality guy on the field and off the field. 0-2 to Lowry facing Arnold Leon. Fastball a bit high. Astros at one time had a 7-0 lead, but the A's battled back the Astros have just kept adding on here in the late innings, and that has helped them get a 5-run lead. I think the Astros scored 3 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th.
Yeah, and those are the add-on runs you were talking about. Huge.
And they added those runs, some of them, after the A's had scored. In the dirt, and now it's 3-2. Our game shooting well past 3 hours tonight. Hit in the air and in the ballpark. Puck goes back. Step onto the warning track. So Jed Lowry having one of those nights. He's 0 for 5. Like we say, there's always one guy on a big offensive night that just for whatever reason does not get involved.
Number 11.
Sometimes it's one of your better hitters. And the Astros tonight with plenty of hits, 10 runs, 12 hits, but Jed Lowry 0 for 5. So 1 away for Gaddis. Gaddis hit his 23rd home run of the year back in the 5th inning. He bounces this one to Semien. Semien throws a little high, and Gaddis is safe. Canna's foot came up off the bag, and that's going to be an error on Semien. So throw just a little bit high.
Marcus did everything right there. Got in position, moved his feet, got momentum going towards first, and it's just his release point. Just a little bit high. Gaddis hustling, beats the throw. Did everything right. It's just that release point. You could see just it's the final step for him to becoming a good, consistent shortstop and making the plays. He's been fielding the ball. He looks real comfortable doing that.
So 34th error of the year for Marcus Semien, and that one's going to be frustrating because it's a fairly routine play, if there is such a thing. Pinch runner is Jonathan VR. So here's Colby Rasmus.
Yeah, you just got to be able to find that release point where you're comfortable with. I used to throw the ball down low. I had a bad shoulder, and I found a release point where it was down low, and I knew my balls had tail on them. At one point, they even tried to get me to throw overhand, and it just was not working. So it's something he's going to have to fill around and see what works for him.
Number 2, Jonathan VR.
Everything else looks great. He looks really smooth. His feet are moving great. The ball's, when he catches it, it's going right in the middle of his mitt.
Rasmus tonight, homer, double, walk, strikeout. Tries to hold up on a fastball, can't do it. 1-1 count. Rasmus, the batting average, .231. But the 19 home runs, kind of what the Astros do. Astros as a team, a .244 batting average. Breaking ball stays high, 2-1. Brooks went 4, Venditti 2/3, Alvarez an inning and a third, Abad 1 inning, Otero 1 inning. Each one of those guys has been scored on. 3-1. The longer this game goes on, you can hear the fans a little bit more each inning. Whatever they may be saying.
Yeah, we've heard this guy below us pretty much the whole game.
And a fair amount of the stuff we really did not want to hear. But that's the way it goes. So 3-2 with VR, the runner at first. He takes off. Strike 3 called. Throw to second base, goes into center field. And VR, who never slid, he just scoots right around to third. So it's a strikeout. It'll be a stolen base and an error. Stolen base E2.
Yeah, what looked a little low. That's a ball right there. Marcus has got to get in front of. Got to stop the ball from going into center and preventing the runner from going to third.
Gonzalez.
So second error in the inning for the Athletics. So runner at third now with 2 outs. So Marwin Gonzalez, who's had a big night. Single, fly out, double, home run. So he's a triple away from the cycle. He's 5 for 8 in this series.
Not bad from the number 8 hole hitter.
No, and your utility guy. So 2-0 the count. Those 2 errors by the A's, the first 2 in the game. Swing and a miss off speed pitch. And a good one by Leon.
And the defense has played much better. They've looked a lot better. Leon comes back with a nice changeup right there out in front as Marlin.
Pitch, sharp slider breaking down and in, and Gonzalez one after it. Oh, was way inside. So 2-2 the count.
This was a slider in, almost hits his back leg, expanding the zone just a little bit.
at third. Pretty good pitch there, but called the ball 3-2. Oliver Perez. Trade deadline pickup for the Astros. He pitched the ninth. And a 3-2 off speed pitch is high. Walked it. So first and third.
Number 16,
Conger.
Hank Conger.
It's the third walk issued by A's pitchers tonight. They've struck out 6. Conger Conger's got 3 RBIs, 2-run single in the 4th, sacrifice fly in the 5th. Bounces this one left side. Laurie knocks it down, picks it up, and cannot make the play. Run comes in to score. So it's going to be a hit for Conger and an RBI. So Conger with 4 RBIs tonight, and the Astros now lead 11-5.
He does, and he rolls one over in the hole here. Brett gives a good effort off his glove, can't come up with it. Conger beats it out, and he's had a really good night. I really do think he's had the biggest at bat in the game.
Springer.
In the 4th, 2nd, and 3rd. Came up with a single, 2 RBIs, got the Astros going.
So now Springer hits for the 6th time. He's 0 for 4, but he has scored twice. He reached on a fielder's choice and was hit by a pitch. Springer seeing Leon for the first time. Slider down and away. Gonzalez at 2nd, Conger now at 1st. So the Astros have scored in every inning except the 1st and the 3rd. Amazing, isn't it, baseball? Last night, shut out by the A's pitching staff. Of course, Sonny Gray did most of the work. And tonight, every pitcher's been scored on. Strike in the outside corner, 1-2. Well, the errors have hurt the A's in this inning. Nice block there by Blair. That was not an easy pitch to block. So 24 pitches this inning by Arnold Leon.
Yeah, and that was a tough pitch. Way in front of home plate. Slides his feet over, gets his chest on it. Very nice block.
Delivery, breaking ball, 3-2. So the runners will take off from 1st and 2nd. Hit hard to Valencia, who's going to go across the diamond to 1st. He does. Side retired. Another run for the Astros. So bottom of the 9th coming up. It's 11-5. Houston leads. So 11-5, the Astros lead in the third and final game of the series, and the end of a long homestand for the A's. A's won the first 2 games of the series, but a lot of offense tonight from the Astros and the long ball. Astros have hit 4 home runs. So Oliver Perez comes in. Came over from the Diamondbacks at the trade deadline. A little help to that Astros bullpen.
The catcher, number 39, Carson.
Is he a teammate of yours?
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah, awesome. Love him.
Well, when he's in the area of the strike zone, he's tough to hit.
Yeah, the last few years he's really figured it out. Got a lot of deception. Will kind of twist, pause, and then a quick pitch in. But this was a good pickup because they had Tony Sipp at one time was the lone lefty.
Yeah, they needed another one.
And he doesn't really have a lot of deception. He's got a nice little slider, but Oliver can be a little funky for left-handed hitters.
Yeah, don't you think it come postseason time when maybe you go to your bullpen a little earlier, you need 2 quality lefties.
100%.
Because you may need to get a big out in the 6th inning of a game.
Yeah, this was a big pickup for them for sure.
And when I say big out, inning going on and you got a big left-handed hitter coming up. If you can bring in a lefty in the 6th inning, and you may have to do it then again in the 8th inning, but if you have 2, you can do that. Lays off that high fastball, checks his swing.
There is that Louis Tiant that he gives you right there. He turns all the way back towards second. A little bit high.
Payoff pitch to Blair. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Blair strikes out for the 3rd time. 1 out here in the 9th.
Comes back with a fastball.
Center
The outside
fielder,
part of the plate.
number 1, Billy.
Carson can't put the barrel to it.
So Billy Burns trying to get his 3rd hit. He's 2 for 4. First pitch, fastball right on the outside half, and Burns fouls it down the right field line. So on to Arlington tomorrow for the Athletics. And with all the new call-ups, it'll be a full airplane. Have added, I don't know the exact number, maybe 8 or 9 players for September.
Everybody double up.
Oh, yeah, double up. Find a friend. Burns hits a fly ball toward Rasmus, who backs up, and he's got it 2 away. And so Mark Canha, last hope for the Athletics.
First baseman, number 20, Mark Canha.
So the Astros 1 out away from what I think we both agreed would be a much needed win for them.
Yeah, you didn't want to say must win, but I think this was. Big road trip. 4 in Texas at the end of this road trip, and they have not played extremely well on the road this year, so make or break road trip for them for sure.
It'll be very, very interesting to see where they're at when that trip comes to an end next Sunday. Canha's 1 for 3. He's got a single and a walk, and it's 2-0. He walked back in the first inning. He's also hit a pair of fly balls to center field. 2-0 pitch is a fastball at 92, right in there for a strike. Dallas Keuchel will pitch Friday night down in Anaheim. Three and one. And Perez, you're right. He almost has a different windup and different delivery. Every pitch, he does something just a little bit different.
Yeah, and he's tough to time up. You never know what he's going to do, so you got to get that front foot down and be ready early.
Shot right over the head of Ron Washington and whistles into the seats.
And he never knows what he's going to do. He kind of makes it up as he comes to a set and just kind of wings it and goes with it.
Pitch got him swinging, and that's the ball game. So the Astros salvaged the final game of the series, and they win. The Rangers lose. So the Astros now have a 2-game lead over Texas in the AL West. So it took 3 hours and 38 minutes in front of 13,387. So the Astros will enjoy an off day tomorrow. A's will travel to Arlington. Final score: Astros 11, A's 5. You've been watching A's baseball on CSN California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Henry Wolford and Shooty Babbitt starts right now.